Paul Freeland, Roger Rice. As we move on, two fighters, both 2-1, with some very tough competition on their record. Paul Freeland's one loss was the 2-0 Tyler Feller, and Roger Rice, his loss was the 3-1 Victor Christian, who we will see in our amateur main event. We send it up to Jake Digman to bring out the first fighter.
The following contest is in the RFO flyweight division and is brought to you by Oscar's Auto Body. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Paul Freeland.
Paul Freeland from Lancaster MMA. As I mentioned, comes in with a 2-1 record. His most recent fight, John, was at Big Guns 21. That was a win over Jose Garza, who we just saw. Now, the question for Paul Freeland is this. The combined record of the two opponents he's beaten is 0-7. And as I mentioned, the fighter he lost to, Tyler Feller, was 2-0. So as the competition gets better, which it will tonight with Roger Rice, how will that man, Paul Freeland, respond?
Well, one of the things my coach, Jason Den, always told me is he said, don't worry about the amateur ranks. Amateur ranks are just for experience. So you get knocked out, you knock somebody out, that's great. Who cares? The point is, it's experience, experience, experience. And what we're going to see tonight is that, you know, Paul Freeland, he's got to get more experience. And you're going to get better competition as you get a better record. That's simply what it is.
Well, Paul Freeland, you talk about experience. He made an experience move earlier in his career. He took over a year off after the loss to Feller, and he said he wanted to get some gym time in. And that year off made him reevaluate how he fought. He said he's been much better since. And tonight, he looks for the finish standing. He thinks he can knock Roger Rice out. And it'll be interesting to see if that comes to fruition, because Roger Rice himself is a guy who's been known to throw hands. So we could be in for a good, solid stand-up fight here between Rice and Freeland.
Yeah, and Freeland has won by TKO and he's lost by KO. So there's no doubt about it that this guy likes to stand and bang. So we have the makings of a great fight, because both these guys are going to want to just throw down.
He also started his career with a guillotine in the first round. His coaches told me that he's very well-rounded, but look, when you can strike, you fall in love with those hands.
Absolutely, and that's, as fans of the sport, bring it on.
Paul Freeland's in the cage. We send it back inside for Jake Digman to bring out his opponent.
And his opponent, making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Roger Rice.
As we wait for the Cherub Warrior to hit the cage, we take a look at the tail of the tape and see how these two fighters stack up. Freeland, 30 years old, 10 years the senior of Roger Rice. Roger Rice, 6-inch height advantage. The records equal, 2 up, 1 down.
Yeah, Roger Rice is coming off of a loss, a TKO referee stoppage at 22 seconds in the first round. That is, you know, not what he was expecting. But one of the things that I do like, his first victory, he went into the third round against his opponent, Nathan Boyd, in Cage Madness 39, and he was able to go into that third round. And one of the things that I always say, especially with the amateurs, getting into that third round is so much experience, because you get that, you know what your cardio has to be.
It's been 7 months since Roger Rice has fought in the cage. He said his improvements have been in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, self-improvement, and self-understanding. He also changed his nickname to the Cherub Warrior. That has biblical references. We'll see how those improvements transfer in the cage. Let's get the official introductions underway.
The following contest is in the RFO flyweight division, and it is brought to you by Oscar's Auto Body. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Lancaster, Ohio. He weighed in at 126 pounds, representing Lancaster Academy of Mixed Martial Arts with an MMA record, 2 wins, 1 loss. Please welcome Paul Freeland. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Warrensville, Ohio. He weighed in at 128 pounds, representing Prideland MMA with an MMA record, 2 wins, 1 loss. Please welcome Rogers, the Cherub Warrior Rice. This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Mr. Dave Beaver.
Roger Rice in the black and red tape. Paul Freeland, black trunks, blue tape. Former fighter Dave Beaver, third man in the cage. Good to see him back in the cage, this time without the 4-ounce gloves. Rice with an outside leg kick. Good fast kicks thus far for Roger Rice. And there's a right hand. And Rice felt like Freeland wanted to come in and wrestle with him. So he wanted to use his angles and his footwork to keep the distance. And so far, he's done just that. Good quickness from Roger Rice.
Yeah, both guys right now, they're having a little difficulty feeling themselves up, closing the distance. Kicks are landing, but they're not landing with a lot of
authority.
Great word, authority. They're landing, but they're not landing with authority.
But Roger Rice has a 6-inch height advantage. He's got a substantial reach advantage. He's got those long legs. I think this is where he wants the fight to take place.
I agree.
He'll be happy to pot shot from the outside. That was solid by Paul Freeland. Good outside leg kick. Another one. Oh, and there's a right hand. And Freeland, Roger Rice goes low. Good combination. There's a knee. And Roger Rice has hurt Freeland.
Yeah, and I think right now he needs to get this fight standing back up because he has a clear advantage on the feet.
Ooh, that looked like a low knee. And he gets a warning, if not admonishment, from referee Dave Beaver. Good knee from Roger Rice. Ooh, there's a right from Freeland, but the Cherub Warrior is looking to pour it on. There's a right hand again.
And right now, if I were him, I would keep this fight standing. Do not get it to the ground. You've got the height.
Roger Rice is pouring it on.
Yes, absolutely. Good combination.
Good straight left. I'm impressed with the hands of Rice. But Freeland's dangerous. He's throwing some heavy shots when he's under pressure. He's counter-punching with some heavy looping shots, and that's what Roger Rice has to be wary of. There it was. Watch that left and right that Freeland throws, John.
No,
there it is. There's the left and the right, and he caught him. Roger Rice felt it, and he backs off.
And the crowd loves it. Both these guys are throwing with reckless abandonment.
Generally, the Chris Lieben style of take 3 to land 1 doesn't work, but Paul Freeland has found a modicum of success with that style right now. Straight right by Roger Rice.
Roger Rice is doing a great job using his height advantage.
Yeah, that length, that right straight is finding a home every time Freeland tries to close the distance. Roger Rice has been the aggressor, but his counter-punching has been on point.
One of the things I really like about Roger Rice is he is not closing the distance. He is making his opponent close the distance for him, and when he does so, he punishes him.
That was a good round. Good round for Roger Rice. See Tyree Johnson in the corner of Roger Rice. Veteran of many wars inside the cage. Roger Rice looks good today.
And not only the doctor, but the EMT is also, they're both looking at Paul Freeland, making sure he's okay, and they walk out of the cage saying, hey, you're good to go for another round. And
take a look at some of the handiwork here, John, at Roger Rice. And watch Freeland swing back, though. We should get a good look at this. There it is, and there's the right. And watch Roger Rice immediately backs up because he got stung by that right hand from Paul Freeland.
But if you put a gun to my head, I got to say it's a 10-9 round for Roger Rice.
Yeah, you could leave the gun in your pocket. I think we all know that that's a 10-9 round. That was pretty clear cut, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
That was a well-fought round by Roger Rice. And, you know, the length, using the length, keeping the distance, and also when he got in the clinch, his knees were very effective.
Now, let me put you on the spot. If you are the coach of Paul Freeland, what are you saying to your students?
Well, he needs to mix up levels and angles to close the distance. You can't walk straight at him. What I see Freeland doing is walking straight at Roger Rice. Roger Rice is the one cutting angles, and that allows him to land punches and stay out of the zone of Freeland. Freeland needs to close the distance and then change levels.
I agree. Good show of sportsmanship as we start this second round.
But see, Freeland, he's walking very linear, coming straight at him. Ooh, there's right hand. But there's the length, John. Freeland tries to land, and he's just outside range. And again, Roger Rice able to utilize it. And there's Freeland closing distance a little bit, and he's able to land.
And I think one of the things Freeland should do is try to get this fight to the ground. I mean, clearly you have you've got an issue of length, height. When you're on the ground, all things are equal.
Roger Rice hails from Warrensville, Ohio. That's just east of the city of Cleveland. Also just east of the city of Cleveland is Bedford, Ohio. That's where Johnny Cage, better known as Devontae Smith, hails from. And these two cross-train together. And you can see some similarities in the style of one, Devontae Smith, and what Roger Rice is doing here. Roger Rice waves him in.
And right now, Rice is doing a good job keeping the distance, and that's the important thing for him. He's the taller, lankier fighter. Keep your distance, especially at 135 pounds.
And Freeland now, Roger Rice looks to be slowing down a little bit. And the punches are coming in a little slower too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
This looks like a fastball pitcher in the 7th round a little bit. But just like Geraldus Chapman, you still have that heat when you need it.
Kick came in a little low, but no big deal.
Ooh, there's good left from Roger Rice. The game, Freeland keeps coming forward. But you can see Roger Rice moving slower now, and Freeland has an opportunity to land one of those heavy shots.
Slap kick. Didn't really have much on it. Both guys right now look like they're a little bit tired. And that's one of the things when you're in the amateur ranks is what is your cardio level?
Ooh, Paul Freeland just avoids the right hand from Roger Rice. Ooh, there's a good right by Rice.
Oh!
There's a left that drops Freeland. And Rice swarming, and look at the patience by Roger Rice, not closing in too quickly. Oh.
And I don't think that so much dropped him as much as he slipped. And here we go. We're going to try to get that takedown.
And he's getting it.
And I think that's a smart move, and he should have done that much earlier in the rounds.
Power double by Paul Freeland.
And now with short time left in the rounds, we've got a very competitive fight right now.
And competitive, John, for a couple reasons, in my opinion. First of all, I think Paul Freeland has found something he can go back to in round number 3, but I also feel like he's the fresher fighter at this point. Your thoughts?
At this point, I would agree with you. You can look right now as we look in the Mike Moran, as we look at our girl here coming here. Roger Rice is very tired, and Paul Freeland, he is tired as well, but he does not seem as exhausted. And I think what he should do in the 3rd round, work for that takedown, because right now this fight is very close. It is very, very close.
Let's take a look at some of the action from round number 2, John. Here we go with the highlights. And there's that was a pretty solid shot. No, he was a little off balance.
I think it was a solid shot, but I still will hold that Freeland was just maybe off balance, slipped a little bit, but there's no question that strike landed clean.
Now, John, we saw the big takedown at the end by Paul Freeland with about 30 seconds to go. How do you score that round? Consider the takedown and everything we saw in those 3 minutes.
I got to score this bout. I think we're even.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's 2-0 Roger Rice, but Mike Moran, the man in charge, the man who makes this all happen, is a tiebreaker, and he says even.
And I think what we're seeing right now is what coaching in between rounds 2 and 3. Freeland needs to get this fight to the ground. That's where he was superior. He was able to get a takedown because the height advantage is just too much.
And Roger Rice throwing some heavy shots, trying to set a proverbial do not enter message to Paul Freeland. I'd like to take this chance that there's some punches from Roger Rice backing Freeland up. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody on FlowCombat.com for joining us. This is RFO Big Guns 22, Ryan Cavanaugh along with John Sturmack. It's a Mike Moran production. Good takedown defense from Roger Rice. We'll see if it holds up, and Freeland digging hard.
Freeland's doing a good job right now. He's trying to get this takedown. He's got his arms locked behind him. Can he get it? Because this is what he needs right now. If Roger Rice can hold this takedown defense, he's going to be good.
But now he's got the hands clasped behind, and Paul Freeland's going to get him down. And Dave Beaver has stopped the fight from a fence grab.
And that might be a point.
And that
is
a point.
1 point. And that could be, that is going to be huge. Because Ryan, even if you had this fight 2-0, 2 rounds to nothing, we are now looking at a potential majority decision.
Wow. And there was no warning. Dave Beaver stepped right in. And the interesting part is that he secured the takedown anyways.
Yeah, and that's, and now we're going to be looking at, could he potentially go for a guillotine? Could he get mount? There's all kinds of issues that's going to go on from here. And right now, Rice is in a world of trouble.
Well, there's a minute and a half for Paul Freeland to work. We're looking at the possibility of some funky scorecards, and Paul Freeland would like to take it out of the judges' hands and finish this fight. Right now, he's on top of Roger Rice in a big way.
Yeah, and you know what? It's cliche, but a lot of amateur fights come down to cardio. And who's got the best cardio? With 57, 56 seconds to go, can Freeland do what he needs to do?
Roger Rice back to his feet. And now the question is, can Roger Rice get some offense going and try and steal this round, or at least force a 9-9 round because of the point deduction?
And he's working on a guillotine right now, but Freeland's working on a takedown, and I think Freeland's going to get it. And he does.
Big. And Roger Rice has an arm in guillotine, but from side control, the time has expired.
At the end. And the question becomes, did they actually stop the clock?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure the round, we had the clock running, the round looked pretty fast. Once the point deduction is what you're talking about. When referee Dave Beaver stopped the fight,
and now that
the clock should have stopped at that moment.
Absolutely, and that becomes now a 10-8 round. And even if you say, hey, we got it 2 rounds for Rice, we have a majority draw.
And here's the fence grab. Let's see. We're going to see the fence grab right here. There's the great camera work as they slow it down. There's the fence grab, and it was an extended, it was in fact an extended fence grab. However, the question is, if you secure the takedown, do you still get the point? And it doesn't really matter because that question's been answered. The point was given, the point was taken. And Paul Freeland looking fresh, hands up, shadow boxing. There he is.
Well, did he
do enough?
This is one where I will never put this on you. I always like to say, hey, Ryan, tell me the score. I can't do that to you because that is just unfair. We are going to just have to wait and see. Is this a majority decision, a majority draw? Only God knows at this point what the judges are going to say because this is a tough one to call.
And And Roger Rice seems to be asking that question himself and hoping somebody can answer it for him. Saying a quick prayer in the corner.
Absolutely. Hey, why not genuflect when you have the opportunity?
And we've got Jake Digman in the cage.
And Jake Digman does not look...
Dave Beaver is bringing the fighters together. And let's end the speculation and find the answer. Jake Digman, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big round of applause for both of these RFO combatants. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards where we have a split decision. Judge Brian Monroe scores about 29-27 Freeland. Judge Mike Berry scores about 28-28. And Judge Delbert Gray scores about 29-27 for your winner by split decision, Paul Freeland!
I'm here with your winner by split decision, Paul Freeland. That was a war, brother.
Yes, sir. Very fun.
Those are the type of fights you like, don't you?
Yes, sir.
That's also a fight that you bumped up in a weight class to make it happen. Could you feel his heaviness, or was it just more of a range issue?
Yeah, he's definitely strong. I felt a little weight disadvantage, but
your toughness pursued, man. That was a great fight. What do you guys say to this crowd out here?
thank you all for coming out. It's a big crowd today. Thank you to my team, Lancaster Academy Mixed Martial Arts, and everybody supporting me.
Let's hear it for your winner, Paul the Savage Freeland.